Work, work, work. It's always about work. See, the key is this is attributed to Mark Twain. He supposedly said, make your vacation your vocation. Oh, yeah, we were talking about vacations. July 27th, 2024. Yeah. Um, by embedding fun and joy within our work, our workplace, um, every day is kind of a mini vacation. And you get to work on diverse stuff if that's what you're meant to do and want to do, or you could specialize. But that's, as an entrepreneur, I'm really adverse to over specialization often in my professional work, because I kind of have a unique value proposition. I was like computer engineering level hardware, and I've been all kinds of software. I've developed all kinds of systems. And what are some of the other ones? But what I would often run into is over specialization. You on a project, you'd be meeting as a team, and for an innovative entrepreneur, the innovation part, you need to be aware of both sides, because that's what innovation is. It's taking a something from here and something from here, and applying it in a problem domain where that could leverage the technology very powerfully. So you need to be aware of it. And most people aren't, like programmers and stuff. They just know they're programming shit. And it often is shit. Um, so that's why they're not, I say a programmer is not a developer. A developer often programs, but doesn't have to. Um, no, programmer is not a developer, and unfortunately, I think that's where a lot of our crappy software on the internet right now comes from. Is people are hiring them as as developers, and there's a lot of pressure because of greed. Software development can be very expensive, very expensive. Um, so there's always the pressure. That was one of the things I didn't like as a systems engineer too. I mean, I was being billed out at some very high rates, but put a lot of time pressure on me. I won't get into case studies or lessons learned, but yeah, it's very frustrating. It's very time intensive a lot of the times, and they're paying you by the hour. They're paying you $120 an hour, say, and but you're not seeing that. You're seeing maybe more like $20 or $30 an hour or something. And yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on you. And I don't deal with stress these days. So, it's not that I don't deal with stress well these days. I don't deal with stress these days. It's part of my crippling behavioral health things. Um, so that's why I need other people to do the work. People that are still young enough and not burned out enough or twisted and whatever it is, um, to do the work. And anyhow, my value proposition, though, I cannot imagine. I so cannot imagine you not being interested in being a working partner in Unicorn Mint with the value proposition I'm making. That if you can't see it, yeah, you might as well go away. I don't want employees. I'm not. I mean, that not that that won't be done in like an outsourcing form and stuff, but that'll be up to project managers. You're in charge of this project. You're responsible for getting it done, and be creative. I haven't mentioned the need for creative working partners yet, but be creative. Line up your team. Uh, uh, you know, Try using AI as a tool. Never rely on AI. AI comes for me. I would think AI comes more under like so the product definition, the product creation, the uh, keyword searches and stuff. Become aware of things out there involved in that problem domain, and then drill down as appropriate. See, part of as an entrepreneurial startup, we need to avoid drilling down and getting caught in the depths, I guess would be a good way to put it. And see again the difference between a programmer and a developer. A programmer will do a bunch of stuff because programmers like to have fun, and uh, they'll put in bells and whistles and what I've been calling fluff. So enough about that. Back to UNICORN.FUN. Okay, let's deviate. Ooh, oh my. Um, yeah, I'm a deviant. I admit it. Cub Scouts honor. I'm a deviant. Um, so yeah, you want to avoid getting caught up in fluff. Um, that is things that don't need to be in there, and it's really not time to include them. Again, systems development often isn't just about getting 1.0 out the door. While you're working on 1.0, you're already working on 2.0, and hopefully you have a pretty darn good idea what the 3.0 and 4.0 will be. Okay. But I wanted to deviate and got caught up in that for a moment to mention the other domain I've registered is graintaremer.com. It was available. I could have doctored it around, but that's what the website is for. It is for when we point people to Green Terra Mer webpage. And now the Unicorn Mint has largely stolen the thunder of the release of Green Terra Mer. There's plenty in my channel, but that's a broader vision. That's a broader company. That's more likely to end up being a conglomerate type thing, owning owning all our businesses, because we have Unicorn Mint LLC, we'll have Brass Ring Games LLC, we'll have we'll have Flying Pig Labs LLC. What are some of the other ones I have in mind? Anyhow, yeah, there'll be plenty of LLCs. As we spin off businesses and start up others. So there'll always be new adventures, always learning. We're a knowledge based company. So when we do our projects, when we go for product creation, um, we do it with knowledge. We know what we're doing. And that gives an awful lot of confidence. So, so yeah, greentermer.com. I don't know. I'll just leave it as a parking page for right now because it doesn't really matter. I'm not talking about it much anymore. The current effort or thrust, if you will, is Unicorn Mint LLC. So I'll start putting something in there. I don't, again, I God, it would be wonderful to have my WordPress going because what WordPress is one of the original CMSs, content management system. Because then I could start doing stuff like this. Well, yeah, and I can point to it up on YouTube, but I can get back to the blog, which is also Another one of the things that WordPress was the first for when the blog technology first came in, before it got stolen by asshole billionaire Zuckerberg. Um, yeah, these asshole billionaires. It's not just that they're not paying their fair share or supporting those that have given them their wealth, but they're bad for business. They're evil. They're because what they supplant computing destiny, I guess I'll say, what should have been. Those that were doing it really good and following the idea of the internet being open source and I won't get into all the power of that. So these billionaires are have done a lot of damage, serious damage. They shouldn't be tolerated. Anyhow, that's one of the powers of Web3. Because now the users own their data, they own their software, they own things, and they don't need the big centralized companies that are so abusive. We don't. We don't. And in that sense, it's one of the ways that Web3 is a whole transition of society. So you can bet there's going to be a lot of those greedy grifter types that are just going to be squealing like a stuck pig to create an image. So yeah, current project, kind of a header thing. Blah, 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 blah. Current projects, what the agents are doing, like Agent Hanuman's working on one that's a 500 unit run. And I'm working on one, and I'll call myself Agent Footstool. Uh, I'm working on a highly manually done set of 10 NFTs. And, we don't need to get too embroiled in like, oh, well, we need to be doing 10,000 NFTs. We'll get there. We'll get there. We're just learning how to do it. And then we're off doing it every month. This is, like I said, these two projects I'm thinking of designating as an August release because July is almost over. Seems like as soon as a month starts, it's winding up and going to be over. Um, and yeah, I'm always looking for the next thing anyhow. So, like these two projects will come under a August 24 release process. I'm not sure what words I want to use. And then, we'll be working on September's releases. And every month thereafter. We're a monthly production engine. That's our SOP, I guess, standard operating procedure. And monetization, the wealth, the assets are just gonna compound. That's why I say I'm not saying we will be bringing in 3 million a month within a year, but it's viable, it's feasible. If we don't do it, others are going to do it. You don't you don't want other people to have our stuff, do you? Well, yes, of course we do. We want them to buy it and trade it and love it and whatever the thing is. Anyhow, I'm going to bounce, take a break, and get this one uploading.